Not sure if I'll upload this or how it's going to go, but I wanted to just share that evenings for me are better. Evenings for me are much better. The weekends for me are easier. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, hard. Friday, days of the week, work week. The energy, I'm talking about the energy, for me is just not great. I don't do well. What I'm saying is that, again, like, I almost need to rest and lie down and almost sleep. Although I just put my head down, I put my earphones, my earplugs in, and I just lie down, just to have a break from it all. Now again, most of the days I might not even have left the house. It's not even about that. I just feel like within the days, it could be psychological or, in my own mind, but I don't think it is. But, I think it's also about living in the city. And again, the more I just find myself, the more I evolve, if that's what I'm doing, the more sensitive I become. And the more open I become, and the more just in touch I become with, that I'm not so conditioned, how I was or have been by living in the city and other people's energies and environments. Again, we're just like shoved into a creche at a very young age, and it's pandemonium. There are other children there running around. There's just so much to this. But again, just so forced into the education system, forced into school, forced into the hysteria of it all. And that it just becomes normal. It just becomes normal. Again, like somebody who's an alcoholic, severe alcoholic, right? Their body, yes, it's taking the knock, but they almost become... When I was drinking alcohol, I could drink half a bottle of vodka, and I would be pretty drunk. But if I drank vodka now, if I drank like more than half a cup, something like that, I'd probably feel pretty unwell. So again, the body learns to adjust and takes the beating, and it just becomes normalized in a way. Although you adjust, you become less sensitive to things. And it's like most things in life, again, it's the frog in the boiling pot, and the water starts off cool and then lukewarm, and then it's boiling and the frog's inside. But it's an adjustment that the frog adjusts to and becomes normalized. And we as human beings living in the city, in our time, in our culture, with our technology and everything else, become normalized to it all, to a certain degree. Normalized to the sheer stresses of it all, the sheer distraction of it all, the inhospitableness, or whatever it is, doesn't matter, of this world. And yet we're needing to find our way and navigate through it, being sensitized, resensitized to the reality. You see? So the more we become conscious, or the more that we heal, or the more we're on this journey, the more inhospitable our environments become, the quicker we outgrow them. Where other people don't really ever outgrow their body and their mind and the psychology and the psyche, everything else just kind of adapts and becomes desensitized to it. Like people that, some people don't even have a choice, but like live on the side of a highway. Or a guy that I see, he's like completely, I don't know if he's drunk, like a homeless guy, and it's like, I don't know how hot, you can't imagine how hot it is, and especially like on a pavement, and the guy's literally just sleeping on a pavement. Now his body, what food he eats is out of dumpsters. And what is that? What is the food that he's getting? Is he getting nutrition? Is he drinking water? good quality water? Is it? No, he's not. And for me, I couldn't stand 10 minutes in that sun, in a baking heat. And here's this guy sleeping, knocked out sleeping. I mean, how, like, again, there's this lady, she's, I wouldn't say she begs, but she does. She stands at the traffic lights here, and I see her every single day. It doesn't matter how hot it is. Doesn't matter if it's raining, doesn't matter. She's there until late hours, and the cars and traffic and trucks, I think I've spoken about this before, are passing her by, and she's there every day. And she seems to thrive with it. She eats, people give her food there, so she eats while she's standing, and she'll walk around eating, people from their cars, their leftover foods or whatever it is, and drinks, and she's often got something in her hand, because people go, oh, here you go, here you go, here you go. And for me, I wouldn't be able to manage 5 minutes standing where she does. It's on a very busy road. There's trucks, there's minibuses, there's cars, there's vans, there's scooters, there's motorbikes. It's just pandemonium. And she stands there in the boiling hot sun with pants on and maybe a long sleeve shirt, and she's just adjusted to it. Now, for me and my level of sensitivity, and it wasn't always like this for me, but I've just becoming more and more tender almost, and it's very difficult. It is very difficult, as maybe you are also experiencing in your own life. It is very difficult. Like, that's why I haven't yet replied to comments on my videos, and that's why I just sometimes just can't think of expanding beyond just this. You know what I mean? I just can't. Like, I can't. Even during the afternoon, it's such a horrible feeling. I just feel that I can't do much at all, especially in the afternoon between about 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Oh, it's bad. 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Oh, it's bad. I just feel exhausted. Maybe I need to go to the shopping mall. I just cannot think of doing it. I cannot think of doing my ironing. I cannot think of, sending an email or paying bills, or I just can't. I don't have the focus. I just don't have the focus. Or to go into the kitchen and make myself lunch, I'm like, oh no, I can't. I'll just put a piece of bread in the toaster, trying to get like a rye bread and whatever, it's a better bread than, it's like a 60% rye, and I'll put in the toast, and I'll take out avo, and I'll just put avo on it with a bit of salt and cut up some cucumber, and that's the meal, just to get me by, because I just can't stand. This morning I woke up, I think it was 6:30, there was a banging in the roof, one of the pipes hammering water, I don't know, and I was in the kitchen then I had a kratom water, I was in the kitchen from about 7 o'clock till about 10:30, on my feet, washing the dishes. I didn't even make myself something to eat, and now I'm hungry, and I'm tired, and the kitchen is still, it takes me a long time. It's a big kitchen, it takes me a long time. Then I put the kratom order together, and it's so nitty gritty, and it's just so this, and then I got to book the courier for it, and got to sign onto the laptop, and that feeling, like just when you're waiting for something, it feels like it's ages. It's like excruciating. Like, let's say I'm waiting for the bread to be toasted, and I'm like, oh, or let's say, you're on your phone, or you're wanting to log onto a website. Let's say I wanted to log onto the courier, then, I'm wanting to log onto my laptop, and it's like, taking a while, and it's like, oh, it's excruciating. Then I've got to open it up, and it's slow. And the thing is that these things aren't really slow, but we just become so impatient, and so much feels so heavy, and it's like such a big deal, such a massive deal, that it's just, oh, I can't. Like, so the days just go by, and weekends are a little bit better. I feel more spacious with the weekends, but during the week it's hell. So I fall asleep. I don't know if I sleep really for like an hour or so, and then I wake up and I feel so terrible. I have to have like something like a chocolate or a sweet or something, whatever it is, and then I make my way down to the promenade. But I feel like I'm carrying myself, and I feel like every turn in the car is an effort, and then there's just cars, and for me, when the roads are busy and there's traffic, even if I'm not traveling far, even if I'm going like 7 or 8 minutes, for me that 7 or 8 minutes feels like it's a half an hour. It's excruciating for me. And I just become more and more sensitive. So it just feels like more and more effort is involved, and it's more and more of a struggle, and it's more and more heavy. And it just feels like there's more and more people around. Again, like I said, for myself, I've taken a lot more information than most people. You know, this is a side note. I don't know if this is relatable, whatever it is, but like, I don't know whenever, maybe. What's interesting when you watch bloopers, or let's say at the end of a movie where they show the bloopers, and I'm fascinated by that, because not maybe the bloopers, but you'll see the person in character, the actor, let's say Matt Damon, in perfect character and serious of his role. And maybe he's talking to Ben Affleck and they're very serious and the whole scene is very serious, and then, you know, by mistake he says one word wrong. Like, it's my pleasure, but he says it's my pleasure. And they just like start laughing, and you see the person for who they really are. Right? You see them out of character. Like with Seinfeld, I watch Seinfeld repeat sometimes, and you can see like when they genuinely are laughing because something is funny. You know, when they find out Kramer's first name is Cosmo, and George comes to tell Elaine, is it Elaine, not Elaine? Oh man, I'm overthinking it now. And Jerry. Is her name Elaine? I'm sure. And he tells them, and they burst out laughing, and you can see his laugh is sincere. George's response is, Jesus is just so funny. And they keep that in there. Even Kramer, when he says, so the name is out, you know, it's cat's out of the bag, you know, he does this thing, and you can see there's a sincerity of the person within that's breaking the character. And they break the character, and it's incredible to see, because it's almost like they're two very, very different people. And it's quite crazy. It's almost like schizophrenic in a way, because it's one personality, then there's a completely different personality. It's just so wild. Anyway, so why am I saying that? It's because this is something that I never really noticed before. Right? But this is just something that I do notice. And I do notice when people are in character most of the time. And I do notice when I go to the show, and I can see the mindset. I can see it when people are commenting on not a video of mine per se, but I can see it's a political video. Like, again, the elections are coming up on the 29th of May, and you see what people are writing, and you see their mindset, and they say, we are going to take this country back, and, you know, whatever, support the soccer team and the rugby team of South Africa, our boys, you know. And you fly on the aeroplane, they say, Fly SA Fair is a sponsor of the Springbok rugby team, you know, bringing our boys home. Again, this association with everything, you know, this identity of everything, whether it's your political party, your religious beliefs, or all of these things that people are just wearing without really knowing it. So, I mean, I've said this so many times, but what my point is that I understand this more, and I see it now more, and I can tell when somebody's being sincere in regards to like personal growth and this kind of thing, and I can see when they're just using generic terms, they're just repeating the same words that they use, and it's just they're lacking soul, they're lacking depth, they're not connected with their essence, and, you know, whatever it might be, they're just not, and yet they believe that they are. And I've been working on myself for 8 years. You say you've been wasting your own time. You haven't been doing the real work. Anyways, again, it's not what I wanted to get into, but I notice these things. I notice talking to people. I notice just how much in denial they are, or how lost they are, or, you know, I could speak to one of my brothers, and I'm like, quite a conversation, I'm like, geez, you're just contradicting yourself, and you're not even realizing it. You're just saying words. It's like you actually don't have anything like one solid type of, you know, I don't know, understanding. Like, there's no understanding. And it's frightening to see. So again, I'm aware of people being unconscious, and when they are that energy and what that feels like for me. And so if I'm living in a city where most people, if not whatever, are unconscious most of the time, then for myself, that energy, I feel it. And what I'm saying is that I've got this energy that I have things to do during the day, but I really honestly feel, and it's a bizarre thing, I honestly feel that I'm almost like in an office, and I've got things to do, and I've got a certain amount of time to do it, and I can relax when it's about 4:30 in the afternoon or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Then it's like, you can be a bit more chilled. But I feel like I've got a Monday morning meeting to go to when I don't. I do have things to do. And then I'm always thinking to myself, I've got like a lot of important things to do. Like I've got bills to pay, I've got emails to write, and I'm thinking to myself, but why do you think that way? Like, why are you feeling this way? You don't have that. I'll wake up in the morning, I've got so much to do today. And sometimes I don't. What do you got to do? You got to backwash the pool. You got to do the dishes. You got to make food. You got to do one or two things or whatever it is. But you make as if you're going to be busy the whole day. But like 10:30, there's so much more that I could be doing. I could be doing the ironing. I could be replying to YouTube, but I can't sit down. I get these ladies' shoes from my father's company, and they're broken. And I bought glue, and I've kind of taught myself, but I can't sit down in the middle of the day and do it. I can barely ever focus on it. I've done like maybe 10 pairs of shoes, and I've probably got about like say 40, and I can sell these shoes, but I just don't have the discipline to sit down and glue them together. I feel like I don't even have the time. It's like I don't even know where to fit that into my day. It's like I can't be settled. I used to do puzzles, but that was only during like December holidays, and I felt like more of a space to do it. During the week, I don't feel I have space. I'm just probably picking up just the general thoughts that are going through everybody's mind, even when they wake up in the morning on a Monday morning. And I'm feeling that, and I'm picking up on their thought process. I'm not telepathic, I don't think I am. I don't claim to be, but maybe that's what's in the ethos, that's what's in the air, that's what people are thinking, that's what the energy is about, And during lockdown, I felt very, very different, and it was more spacious in a way, but it was filled with this tremendous sense of despair and fear of unknown and uncertainty. But there was also a bit of a relief. It was so beautiful to be able to drive on the roads knowing that you're not going to be passing so many other cars, not that you're going to be sitting in traffic. It was a pleasure. It was an absolute pleasure. I just felt a sense of freedom. One of the reasons I left Johannesburg, now that I live in Durban, was because I could only travel between certain times during the day, because in the morning it's a write-off with the traffic, because Johannesburg is like 10 times worse than Durban. But I just couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't make any arrangements if I wanted to go. I just couldn't, because I felt like everywhere was just gridlocked most of the day, but especially during morning traffic and then afternoon traffic, like proper gridlock. I just felt like I was pinned down. I just had to wait every single day between these times because I couldn't go anywhere. Couldn't even go to the shopping mall. I just wanted to sit, I used to live off Club Street. And if I waited in the traffic on Club Street, you just it's bumper to bumper, bumper to bumper. And for me, it's so irritating. And every car that passes me by, I get annoyed. It's like, vroom, vroom, vroom. I was thinking today while I was driving, I'm nuts. Let's just put it that way. I don't know. I was thinking, for the whole of human evolution, for the whole journey of human, whatever, where is it that human beings drove at a speed beyond even like 20 kilometers, however many miles it is? I always forget that. These are things that I don't forget. I feel like I can't really learn new words. It's just, I feel like I can't, which one's miles? Is it less in kilometers? I think it's like, whatever. I think it's like, maybe 10 kilometers is 6 miles. I get it wrong. And then there's pounds and there's kilos, and I can't remember it. Basic stuff's just silly things. And I overthink it. I don't know, there's just too much going on. There's so much clutter. There's so much noise, and there's so much artificial light, artificial sounds. Anyway, so driving in a car, human beings, I mean, the fastest they could go was on a horse, which is pretty fast. But again, they weren't going, what they were doing was just going in nature. So again, you know, when we look out the window of a car, you ever looked at somebody looking out the window and their eyes, you know, they're just looking out the window at the plants or the grass or the houses or something like that, and their eyes go back and then they move forward to the next thing, to the next, what they're looking at. It's just catching up, and they're focusing and they're focusing and focusing, refocusing on, because the environment has changed. So it's refocusing, and there's a whole lot of information coming in. Data. But in nature, a lot of the information is just green, is trees, is bushes, is shrubs. You know, it's whatever it is. It's not shaped, you know, where there's rocks and something like that, but it's predominant. Is that when you're going in the city, there's colors, there's all different kind of shapes, there's all different kind of sounds. And you're traveling at a massive speed compared to what human beings were ever capable of doing it. And how many people rode horses? Most people couldn't even afford to have horses. Even like in World War, I don't know which one it was, they, you know, the people didn't have horses. They couldn't even get to the, you know, just whatever. But now, all of a sudden, I mean, I don't know. So now we're traveling at ridiculous speeds, and we're driving through posters. We're driving through advertisements. I mean, posters like, you know, for elections. Posters everywhere. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry's got a political party. Got their poster up, their poster up, their poster up. Then there's advertisements, and there's number plates. I can't tune myself out to this. And there's different colors of the car, and there's different sounds, and there's different smells in a way, and it's just, and there's different people, and then you turning, and you've got to be careful of the guy in front of you, and he's on his phone, and you've got to anticipate if he's going to turn or whatever it is, and then you get to the traffic light, you're like, oh man, I'm just sitting there, and like for 1.5 minutes, it's like just a drain. And then where am I going? What am I doing? What's so important for all of this? Oh, well, you're going to go buy some groceries or something like that. Or maybe you're going to the vape shop, and I have to drive to the vape shop, and it's a 15-minute drive just so they could have a look at my vape because it's giving me a problem. Then I drive 15 minutes back. It's a mission for what? So things are not simple anymore. Things are so complex and complicated. It's terrible. You walk into a supermarket and you get overwhelmed with the choices, you know, and the prices, and you try and work it out. Well, also, you know, like, you don't take a shopping list. You're like, do I have a green pepper in the fridge? Do I have it? Look at this green pepper. This green pepper looks so, you know, pesticided and whatever, you know, like it doesn't even look natural. Okay, I don't do it. I spent ages in supermarkets because I go and I look at expiry dates. I bought a packet of mushrooms today. They're expensive. So I go to the back, you know, I take away all the front mushrooms, and I see the first date is, you know, sell by the 21st. And then I'm like, what's the date today? Most of the time I don't know what the date is. I just can't believe how the time flies. So the mushrooms, so I go, okay, no, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. And I realize 24th is the one, right? Then I go like to a soup mix, and I'm like, but they're selling the soup mix for 37 Rand, okay? But what's in here that I don't have in my fridge? But yes, it's so convenient because all of this stuff is already prepared. We can't, and I mean, last night I made roasted veg. It took me 1.5 hours to make. I had a quarter pumpkin that was sitting in my fridge for I don't know how long. And again, I have to peel the thing, then I have to cut it up. And for myself, I don't like to overcook my food. And also try and cook, you know, cut up all the pieces at, you know, in roughly the same size so they don't get overcooked or undercooked or whatever it is. It's a difficult process because I'm trying to eat consciously. I drive myself mad, but I don't put like the baby marrows, or some people call it zucchinis, in with like the potatoes. I was watching Jamie Oliver, he's making like a curry, a veg curry. And he makes all these vegetables, and it's great, whatever, and he puts it in the oven. He says, just leave it in the oven for 45 minutes. I think to myself, 45 minutes? Buddy, you're going to have nothing left in there. Like, I mean, there's no nutrients left. The stuff is just burnt. It's just 45 minutes, you know? And for me, it just comes out completely roasted. It's like, well, what's the point? You know, you're overcooking your food. I know I've been to my mother's house, and she's had soup on the stove that they've like just boiling away for like 45 minutes. I'm saying it was done a long time ago, you know, especially with the Sabbath, you know, you can't you can't switch on electricity, you can't switch on the stove, so you have this like hot plate. So before the Sabbath comes in at 5:30, you put the hot plate on, you put the soup on it, so the soup is boiling from 5:30 on this hot plate till the time you eat at 7:30, at night, and you take it off, you'll be like, yeah, but this has been boiling away. When it's got a lid on, even if it's been simmering in a way, it's like, dude, come on now. So again, just trying to, takes me an hour, it takes me way too long, and I can't stand it. But I go into shopping mall and I see, what's the expiry date? Do I have this? Do I need this? I got to organize the chicken for the cat, right? I do it like once a month. It's such a mission. So I've got to phone the place, drive there, pick it up, come back, and it's not easy. It's not easy for me. At the moment, I'm driving a Ford Ranger. It's this massive car because my car's in at the thing. They've had it for about a month now at the dealership because I have a new car, but it broke. I'm not getting into details, the gearbox or whatever it is. So I've got this massive car. It's such a pain. Can't find parking, can't reverse. It's so heavy, it just eats petrol. I don't know who on earth would want to drive this in the city. But again, people are desensitized. Again, watching, maybe you do it, fine, whatever. Even gaming, it's like, okay, you've conditioned yourself to it, but maybe you're fine with it. But I'm sure there's a lot of things that you aren't fine with. There's a lot of things that you're also finding for yourself that are very difficult, very consuming. And so for myself, I give myself a hard time, and I wish I wouldn't. And I say, Aaron, you're so useless, buddy. You're just so tired so much of the time. You just feel so heavy so much of the time. And I cannot escape that heaviness. I cannot. And also, not only that, but in my life, there's nothing really to look forward to. I'm not excited about things. I feel like I'm bored. I feel like I'm bored and I'm just getting through time. I feel like I'm bored. I'm not meeting a bunch of friends on the beach. We're going to have a barbecue, whatever it is, and somebody's bringing a guitar. I'm saying good quality people. And not only that, if you did that on the beach and the sun set, you could easily just, get, mugged. You can't do that. You're living in a city where you're having to, every time you drive into your driveway, you've got to see that there's nobody behind you. Heaven forbid will hijack you. You've got to be conscious of it all the time. You know what that's like. At the moment, I'm driving one of the most hijacked cars in Johannesburg. I mean, in the country, not Johannesburg. It's not nice. It's terrible. And the way that other people drive, and we've got to share all the space, a little bit of space with so many people that are just absolute strangers to us. I don't know my neighbors. I'll be here for almost a year. The neighbors on the left-hand side, I don't know who they are. I've never met them. We're surrounded by a bunch of strangers, And let me not get on about the fact of South Africa and and the level of unhealthy food. Again, I've mentioned this before. I can't eat at 99% of the restaurants, or even if I go into into a Checkers or a Spar, what they call it. It's like a grocery store. It's like a convenience store, and they do that. But everything is chicken, and everything is meat, and everything is deep fried. There's no real vegetarian option. Not only that, but the food that they make is so bland and tasteless and lifeless and loveless. So again, it's like, what am I doing here? I'm just eking out some kind of existence, day by day by day. Yeah, it's terrible. It's shocking. It's awful. It's awful at times. I can't imagine. And the thing is that as well, what happens is that I find is that it builds, right? So say I go away somewhere for 2-3 nights, and then I come back and I feel a bit refreshed. Okay, I've had a change of scenery, change of environment, great. Feel a little bit better. Can focus on things. I feel like, okay, I can get this done. 2-3 days later, the heaviness sets in. And I'm like, oh my word. And then a week later, it gets heavier. 2 weeks later, double heavier. As it goes on, it just gets heavier and heavier and heavier. And then again, I just feel so heavy. I can't even think about leaving the city, and I don't really have anywhere to go. And also, I don't want to drive somewhere. Like when I drove out of the city 3 weeks ago to this whatever, it was hell. It was hell. The highway is hell. It's shocking. It's awful. I hate driving. I just explained. I just saying to you what's going on. I'm nervous wreck in the car. I don't have the confidence in a way. I don't think I'm a bad driver, but I'm just aware of all the potential and whatever, and I'm a bit neurotic, I'm not going to lie. But why wouldn't I be? I don't know. Let's try to have more faith and try to relax, but I find it very hard to do it. That's why I can't smoke the green, because I smoke the green and then everything becomes so much more, intense. If I was living in nature, if I was waking up in my morning, and watching the sunrise and hearing birds, you don't really hear birds in the city. Hearing birds and all the animal life and whatever else, and walking to the waterfall and having a swim in the waterfall or something like, just would really, really be amazing. There's another South African guy that I know. His name's Garth Ensley, Ensley. I think that's how you spell it. He's a South African. I met him quite a long time ago, and we have similar minds in a sense. We kind of lost touch, but he's got a YouTube channel because he does incredible hikes with his girlfriend. And he's so rugged. You see, even for myself, even if I wanted to, he'll drive like 3.5 hours to a place. He does like 6-day hikes and he films them, and it's incredible. He puts them together, they're masterpieces. But I see myself in him as well, like when he's not doing hikes and he wakes up and he's feeling so heavy, but when he's on these hikes and he's on these journeys and it's beautiful. But I'm not as rugged as he is. I mean, he can like ride a bike for, I think, 100 kilometers, and he can hike. I mean, I'm not rugged. I'm not conditioned like that. I'd get a headache so easily. I'm so sensitive because I'm so, like not active in that way. I'm just not conditioned to it. It'll take me a long time. But also sometimes I just don't think it's in my DNA. I just don't think I have it. I can't do like a 6-day hike, although I'd love to do it. I probably could do it. I'm more nervous about it, but the way that he does it, like riding and hiking and all in one day, and for me I'd be so nervous. How much food do I take? You see, but if I was doing it often and I had people to do with it and I lived close to it, then that would be a different story. You can check out his videos. He does beautiful videos. A lovely guy. I don't know him that well, but he doesn't have that many viewers, and he's got more than me, which is fine. It was interesting. My first video that I uploaded, I got 100 views or so. The next video I uploaded, I got 46. But again, it's more so for the people that, I connect with and we get each other type of thing. It's very few of us, I think, and that's fine. And also that will be better for me because it's hard to try and, not screen myself, or I'll re-listen to a recording that I did and think about, how am I going to come across, and who am I going to, maybe going to offend, and how am I, it's very hard. It's very hard to just be raw, not even raw, just be sincere, and just be like as if I'm talking to my mother, let's just say. Just that's it. No airs and graces, just as it is. Just if I was having a conversation with you, one-on-one type of thing. It's not easy to do that. Sometimes I'm okay with it, other times I simply am not. And there's quite a few videos or recordings that I have done, and I just give them the boot. Because also sometimes I'm in such a heavy space and I do a recording and I just don't want to be heard coming from that place. I don't know if it's embarrassing, I don't know if it's just too heavy, I don't know if it's just so, I don't know what it is. But it's like, I can't believe it sometimes. When I listen to videos of mine, or like some of my journaling, and I read back and I think to myself, geez, man, you're going through hell. Like you have no idea how tough things are for you, how challenging things are. And don't get me wrong, I'm blessed in so many ways. I'm so blessed in so many ways. And I do appreciate it, I really do. But also at the same time, I honor, how difficult it is and how severe at times it is. I've got to take ownership, I'm saying, in honor of my sensitivity and my whole experience, and that's what it's like. That's what I got to do. So I do appreciate, but sometimes I get into a space and I'm talking about something that I'm not ready yet to be talking about, maybe something in my personal life, and I did a whole video of what's been going on for me in the last 2 years or since I've last spoken and did a video, and I'm not even sure if I want to upload it. I'm tired of, not tired, I'm just, again, my life is something that's, before I used to just share my life with anybody and everybody, and but I realized, no, hold on, there's a lot of people out there you know, that you just don't want to share your energy with, you know. It'll come back to bite you in many, many ways. It's not so innocent. It's not an innocent thing just to share yourself completely with strangers. It can be a very, very dangerous thing. And it was a habit that I've been breaking, you know. I really need to be able to trust and understand and feel respected and resonate with the person. It's like my bank account, you know, my bank info, or my login details for my bank, and, you know, even my actual statement. It's really personal stuff. And again, if somebody's coming from a judgmental place, or coming from a place that they think they're going to give me advice, or something or other, I mean, that's not, just listen. You know, if you've got something that you can see where I can, but don't tell me what to do in a sense, you know, superiority, just nonsense stuff. Oh, because you're a psychologist, or you're a, you know, life coach or something like that. Fine, if you've got something worth merit, then that's okay. But see, that's it. I don't trust people to be responsible and mature enough that, you know, you're just more ego, like, oh, let me tell you what you need to do, you know, type of thing. Kind of whatever, you know, just their lack of sincerity, their lack of sensitivity. Yeah, I just don't want to expose myself. And then somebody tells me, you know, I had something similar like this a few days ago. I so regret what I did. I'll save it for another time. I so regret. I was just so open. I just really was so personal to somebody that I shouldn't have been. I think I spoke about it. I'm not sure. That's also another thing, is I don't know what I've spoken about. I could be repeating myself so many times, and I just don't know. And you know what? I'm not going to go back and listen to all my videos to remind myself. It's just too much. And then, okay, I've spoken about this. No, I'm just going with whatever it is. So I might be repeating myself all the time. I'm sure I'm repeating like 70% or 80% of what I used to talk about in my previous recordings. I just don't remember. You know what it's like. Do you remember what you had for lunch yesterday? Okay, it's not the most relevant thing, but everything's becoming, not everything, most things are just becoming a blur. All we can kind of focus on and connect with is the current experience and current motion, you know? And again, there's just so many thoughts going on, so many thoughts. Like, I'm thinking, no, well, maybe should I upload this video? This sounds like a video that's coming out quite nicely. Maybe the other ones just thoughts all the time. So I'm jumping the gun here, but just simplicity, sorry, I'm getting lost here in what I'm saying. Yeah. I read Angie's comment, and actually wanted to make a video on her comment, because she's hitting the nail on the head with what she said in her comment, you know, about things becoming too large, too much going on. And so she's just sort of trying to keep it simple. And, you know, I must read that comment. It was, I think, one of my videos, and it was exactly, I would say, yeah, Angie, if you're listening to this, it's been a long time. It was another lifetime ago. It was another lifetime ago when a couple of us were uploading videos, and what was his name, Skyhopper, and there are other people, I don't want to say their names because I'm not going to be able to pronounce them correctly, but also that are still around, have still commented. Juniper, I don't know how you say, I'm not going to say it. And like, it just feels like when I see your names, I'm like, a lifetime ago, I feel like we're just such different people back then. You know, we were like so naive in a way, you know. We're so, I don't know, I think we've really had to, I think because of the hardships and the challenges of it all, you know, we've really needed to, it's been really exhausting, and it's been really expansive for us at the same time, you know, but it's definitely exhausting. Yeah, I was thinking to make a video where I just read back the comments to people, just to show acknowledgement and appreciation what people are saying, you know, not that you're just commenting on some other random guy's YouTube video. And, you know, often of the time I think about leaving comments, you know, on people's videos, whatever I'm listening to, or could be sometimes and I just think, you know, don't waste your time. They're probably not even going to read it. The guy's got 155 comments, you know, and he's just going to scan through it. And what are you going to take? You're going to take half an hour of your time to write out a comment or something like that because you want to share an idea. And then you realize, okay, the video is 3 months old, so people aren't really going to get that benefit because most people have already watched the video by now. So like, what's the point? There's so much that we need to look at ourselves and sort of work out and say, what is the point? You know? What is it that that is most meaningful of our time. But again, a lot of my time being meaningful is just having to get through the frickin' day. You know, that's for me like a, you know, success. I mean, obviously I'm going to get through it, but it's just like, I don't know. Anyways, I'm getting carried away. Thanks for listening.